My name's Rachel, and I'm a sophomore in high school. I live in a suburban small town in Ohio where nothing much ever happens, or at least that's what I used to think. My life back then was pretty normal: school, homework, hanging out with friends, and playing with my dog. I wasn't the smartest kid, but I did okay. My parents always encouraged me to focus on my studies, especially since finals were coming up. That's how I ended up in Mr. Thompson's tutoring class. He was this guy in his late 20s who ran a small tutoring center. Just a few blocks away, people said he was genius with math and science. If you studied with him, you were practically guaranteed to pass. My friend Emily was already going, so I figured I'd join too. At first, Mr. Thompson seemed great. He had this confident way of teaching, like he really knew what he was doing. He'd break down complex problems and make them easy to understand. Sometimes he even used little science tricks to explain concepts. He seemed cool, but also a little weird. For one thing, he was big on separating the boys and girls. He claimed learned better without distractions, but something about how he said it didn't sit right with me. Still, I ignored it. After all, he was helping me pass my classes. Then things started getting uncomfortable. Mr. Thompson would stare at us girls in this way that made my skin crawl. Like he wasn't just looking at us, he was studying us. He started making comments too, mostly just little things, but enough to stick with me. "You've got a sharp mind, Rachel," he told me once. "If you ever need extra help, any kind of help, you can always call me." He handed me his number and smiled. It wasn't a normal smile, it was wrong, like he knew something I didn't. I tried to brush it off, but that night he texted me. "Hey Rachel, I've got some important notes for you. Top secret. Don't share with anyone." I figured it was just about school, so I texted back, "Sure, send them over." Instead, he called. At first, he was casual. School stuff, exam tips, random advice. But then he started asking weird questions. "What movies do you like? Do you hang out with your friends a lot? Are your parents usually home?" The last one really unsettled me. I told my parents were always home, even though that wasn't always true. He kept calling after that. His compliments became creepier. One night out of nowhere, he said, "Your hair looks really pretty when you wear it down. I've noticed that a lot." I barely muttered a thank you before I ended the call. My gut was screaming at me that something was seriously wrong. I tried to convince myself I was overreacting, but deep down, I knew I wasn't. The final straw came when he called late one night. This time, I put the call on speaker and my dad listened in. "Rachel," Mr. Thompson's voice was low and weirdly casual. "You've been avoiding me. I don't like that. I really want to see you smile again." My dad snatched the phone from my hand. "Don't ever call my daughter again," he growled. "If you do, the next time we meet will be at the police station." The next day, my dad went straight to the authorities. Unfortunately, there wasn't much they could do without concrete proof. It was just our word against his. But the rumor just spread fast. Parents pulled their kids from Mr. Thompson's class, and the place shut down for a few weeks. I thought that was the end of it, but 3 weeks later, the tutoring center reopened, and students started going back, even some of the girls. I couldn't believe, after everything that happened, they still trusted him. Maybe it was fear. Or maybe they just wanted to pass their finals, but no one seemed to care what he had done. I refused to go back. My dad told me to stay strong, that I didn't need some creep to help me pass my exam. And honestly, I'd never been so determined to prove someone wrong. But there's something that still bothers me to this day. I asked my friend Emily if Mr. Thompson had ever called her like he called me. She wouldn't answer. She just looked away, almost embarrassed, or maybe scared. I still don't know if I was the only one, or just the only one willing to talk about it. Either way, I'll never forget the feeling, the cold, creeping realization that someone I trusted was watching me, waiting. And worst of all, no one seemed to care. This story happened to three of my friends, Alex, Megan, and Jason. We were all college buddies looking to escape our boring routine. We decided to take a weekend camping trip, but something adventurous. Alex suggested we head out to a secluded forest area for some peace, a bonfire, and maybe a few drinks. It sounded like a great idea. So the following weekend, we packed our tents, food, flashlights, and hit the road. The forest was somewhere down in the Appalachian Mountains, calm yet isolated. Exactly what we were looking for. We set up camp near a small creek, spent the day exploring, taking pictures, and cooking over the fire. Everything seemed perfect. That night, as we gathered around the bonfire, Alex decided to tell a local legend. They say this forest is haunted, he started. People talk about a shadow figure that roams these woods. Anyone who sees it never comes back. Jason laughed and said, "Yeah, right. Let me guess. It kidnaps campers and drags them into the trees." We all chuckled, but I couldn't shake this uneasy feeling. The silence in that forest was unnatural, so quiet you could hear your own breathing. Maybe it was the alcohol, but the only sound I could pick up were the crackling of the fire and the faint rustling of trees in the breeze. Later that night, I woke up around 2 a.m. to use the bathroom. On my way back, I noticed something strange. Jason's tent was empty. Megan assumed he had gone to pee too, so we waited. But 15 minutes passed, then an hour. Jason still hadn't returned. Worried, we grabbed our flashlights and headed into the woods to search for him. I kept calling out, "Jason, where are you?" But all I got back was a re-echo of my own voice. The cold air felt heavier with every step, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching us. Suddenly, Megan gasped and pointed to a tree. Jason's hoodie was hanging from a branch way too high up for him to have just thrown it in there. Alex tried to downplay it, saying maybe he tossed it up there while messing around, but that didn't make sense. Thinking Jason was playing some elaborate prank, I shouted, "Alright, dude, joke's over, come out." Nothing. Just silence. As we pushed deeper into the woods, we found a clearing where the air felt ice cold. Megan whispered, "Look over there." I followed her gaze and froze. A shadowy figure, as tall as a man but featureless, stood motionless between the trees. I swear, it felt like that thing was looking directly at me. "Run!" I screamed, and Alex bolted before I could even process what was happening. Megan grabbed my arm and we sprinted back towards the camp. We didn't stop until we reached our site, but what we found was even worse. Our campsite was wrecked. Tents slashed, supplies scattered everywhere. Megan was crying, curled up near what was left of her gear. Alex was struggling to catch his breath. "That was no joke," Alex stammered. I tried to stay calm. "Where's Jason?" We sat around the brutally burning fire, calling his name every few minutes, but there was no answer. Eventually, we just waited in silence, too afraid to leave the circle of light. Morning finally came and we followed a dirt path out of the woods to find help. When we reached a nearby town, we reported everything to the local sheriff. At first, they didn't believe us until they inspected our camp. A search team was sent in, and thankfully they found Jason, but he wasn't himself. He was freezing, his clothes soaking wet except for his missing hoodie. His pants were shredded on one side, like something had crawled at them, yet his skin was untouched. When Jason finally regained consciousness, we asked him what happened. His answer still gives me chills. He said, "I remember going to pee, then I saw something in the trees. Something dark. I tried to run, but everything after that is just blank." Megan cut ties with us not long after, too shaken by what happened, but Alex, Jason, and I still meet up from time to time. I still think about the shadow figure. Whatever it was, I'm just glad we all made it out alive. But I swear, some nights I feel like something's still watching.